part, your knees and your hips. At the top of the swing, lower part of your body, arms and hands follow, bringing you into position to hit.
Yes, indeed. A very big hello and welcome back to the Course Language Podcast, all thanks to Callaway. If you're a new member, welcome on board. If you're an existing member, great to have you still on board as we chat everything that's going on in the wonderful world of golf. And hopefully it has some relevance to the golf that you're playing as well. The man will make sure it does, though. He's a man who played on tour, won on tour, teaches others to do the same. He commentates on the Australian tour. Of course, Ryan Lynch. Hello, mates.
Hello, Sammy. Delightful to be here, mate.
Delightful to be here.
We've had a little bit of sunshine in Melbourne the last few days,
Yes.
and it just kicked us in the teeth again today with the rain and the wind and everything. But a couple of nice days. Have you been able to get out and hit the white ball around, mate?
I have. If you hear that I'm being just a little quieter in the episode, it's just we're recording this on a Wednesday night. I've just got the kids to sleep, and I'm petrified that I'm going to wake them up. So if it sounds like I'm being quite serious and somber, I'm not. I'm just trying not to have all hell break loose upstairs. I played on Saturday. It was good to be able to get out and play on Saturday comp, and it was par. And I'm not, I don't love par. So I think I finished 2 down, which
That's all right.
I'm told was about 34 points off a 13 handicap. So it wasn't too bad a day, but it was just like it was one of those. I had some holes that I really I had a couple of birdies, and I don't really have many birdies as we've spoken about, and it's just a little annoying not to get full value for your birdie because it was a hole that I had a shot on, so it didn't matter.
That's rough.
Yeah,
Totally. Very rough.
It didn't give me
Tough
it
game,
but
par.
it was our par 5 7th, and I played it I did play it perfectly.
Nicely.
Got to the corner, 7 iron, I think pitching wedge, and then knocked in the putt. So it's
Nice.
not you played that hole. It's not an easy par 5 because you really, and I know you're big on your course management, and you've played this hole that it's sort of like 200 or 2 something down to the corner, depending on where they've got the tee set. And then you've got like a 200 or depending on where we finish on that corner, it's a full 90-degree dogleg left. It'll give you anywhere from 200 to 230 to an uphill green, like a quite steep uphill green with heavy bunkering on the right-hand side, and then there's a bunker on the left, to the left side of the green. So if you can really smoke your 3-wood, then good luck, but there's not a whole lot of green out the back either,
Not
so
much
you can't
space.
be too long.
Out of bounds up the left-hand side as well.
Yeah,
Fraught with
so
risk.
the members will tell you that long-time members just play it as a, try and make your 4 like that. Par's good, even bogey's fine. But if you are going to go for birdie, you're not going for eagle. Not many people do. So I was really, really happy with how I played that, because that's sort of how you should manage that hole in terms of mitigating the risk. So that was probably the highlight of the day, to get out of there and go, geez, I was happy with how I played that hole.
Nice. Happy days. So it's obviously in pretty good nick.
Well, it means that I've been listening to you, mate, when it comes to the stuff in regards to course management, because the more, I think it is the thing that I reckon as you get a bit better, you start to think more about, as opposed to, I just want to hit the longest, like, what's the distance? What can I hit that club?
Yeah.
What club can I sometimes hit that distance? And then, but now you get a bit more, a bit smarter.
Well, mate, it's nice.
A bit more thoughtful.
Yeah. It's nice that your average days of golf are closer to that 34, 35, 36 mark now than what they were when you first got down to this sort of 12, 13 handicap. So, I mean, that's a sign that things are getting better. When people ask me about, okay, I want to just be more consistent, often what they're thinking in their head is they want to hit their best shot more regularly. Well, consistency is actually having your worst shots closer to your better shots, because you're just not going to hit your best shots very regularly. So when you're improving, getting better at hitting bad shots is actually the skill of the game. Okay, so when your poor ones go in the right direction and they go the right distance, that's when you know you're getting more consistent. It's never about the good ones.
There's a great little counter on the MiScore golf app that I've found really, we've gone through all the great stats now on the upgrade, but the one that I have been paying a bit of an attention to is average score. Like, what's my average Stableford score now? And it was 29 a couple of months ago, and now it's just above 32.
That's great.
So
Nice.
it's just, I've found that one pretty helpful to go, well, how consistent have I been lately? Because given that if we're playing to our handicap, we should be getting about 36. Would we agree with that? If you're playing to your handicap, 36, 35?
Yeah, if you play to your handicap, you shoot 36. But remember, you only play to your handicap 8 out of 20 times is essentially
That's a great stat. That's a great stat to have. So how close am I to what that ideal, that, play to handicap 36, and anything above that you're getting you're eating into it a bit.
Yeah.
So to see that number go up would speak to what you're saying, wouldn't it? That you're being a bit more consistent.
Yeah. Ideally, the other thing as well is that it's highlighting whether or not your attitude is any good. Because when you're having your bad days, do you blow it totally out and walk off and have 24 points, or do you stay in it and just grind it out and shoot 31 points? I think that's a great metric. The average Stableford round is fantastic. The closer you can get that, obviously, to low 30s, mid 30s, the better things are. You're obviously in the game for a long time. You're not chucking the towel over the top rope, and you're close enough to your handicap.
Have you been having a hit?
I haven't really. I was actually just looking up my average Stableford score as you were mentioning that on the MiScore app, and it's 34.4 at the moment, off plus 4.7.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm stoked with that, to be honest. I'm pretty happy about that. We've spoken about the app, that it's quite good.
What does that mean off the stick for you? Like a 34-pointer. I know we're getting into the reads here, and we're trying to tell people not to worry about that so much, but I think what does that mean for you?
Well, plus 4.7. I'm playing off plus 5 at Heritage most of the time, unless we're playing off the gold. So 34 points is 3 under par.
Yeah. That's handy.
It's not too bad. I mean, I've dedicated my whole life to doing this, so especially at your home club. What I am excited about, though, is I've been very, very fortunate this year. Obviously, I've had the UK trip. I do have an exciting trip to Vietnam coming up this Sunday.
Hey, you have no credits in the bank. How on earth?
I've managed to get away for this Pro-Am that we're playing. So we're going to play at Laguna Langko, Barnard Hills, and Golden Sands. So I actually haven't played golf in Vietnam. A lot of people are telling me that it's magnificent over there. So I'm very, very excited to get over. We're actually going with CGE, which is a travel company, and it's going to be a great tournament. Hopefully we can pick up a couple of bucks, and then the family's shooting over for the tail end of it for the week. So it'd be nice to get out of this cold weather that we were talking about, Sammy.
Says you are a saint, an absolute saint.
A great woman. Very fortunate. I'll have to put the clubs away after this one for a little while, I think, before summer comes out.
Big purse up for grabs in the Pro-Am, is there? Big purse?
It's pretty solid. It was advertised at $30,000, but I'm not sure whether or not they filled the field out. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but hopefully we can take that winner's check.
When do you leave again?
Sunday, first thing.
Oh, hello. All right. In very quick time, because this will go up before you leave this podcast, for anybody who has played those 3 courses that Lynchy just mentioned, give them to us again.
Barnard Hills, Laguna Langko, and Golden Sands. At
Course Language Pod, give us any help to our man that you can. Get that lion's share of the $30,000 purse.
Yes.
Anything you can tell him about any of those 3 courses, we would be very, very grateful for. Let's see what comes back to us from the Course Language members.
Got an all in the tips for you, Sammy, if you're ready for this week's segment.
Yes, please.
Think back to any time you've played a good round of golf. And I did this in Japan, actually, when I was going to Japanese Q school. So because the players that I was playing with predominantly weren't English-speaking players, I had to keep my mind quite active. So I was singing a song in my head. So I would listen to some music before I started the round. And find a song that I was happy to have in my head for most of the day, and just to stay in the present, which is always a good thing to be doing.
I just want to get the scene set.
It depends. It really depended. I couldn't even give you any off the top of my head right now because it changes like the wind. Some days it'll be a bit of rock. Some days it'll be a bit of indie pop. Some days I've even had some like late 90s, early 2000s hip hop, which was where I was going through my sort of younger sort of rebellious sort of stage. But yeah, a very wide eclectic variety of music. But what you'll notice is that everyone has their own rhythm. Okay. And so as much as singing the song was keeping me in the present and stopping me from sort of thinking ahead, how many birdies, what's my score, yada, yada, yada. I'm someone who, believe it or not, likes to talk on a golf course. So that was a way to keep my mind moving. But every single putt that you hit has the same rhythm to it. So a 2-foot putt, from the moment your putter moves away from the ball to the moment your putter strikes the ball, that length of time for a 2-foot putt should be the same length of time for a 50-foot putt, 20-foot putt, 30-foot putt, 10-foot putt. That rhythm shouldn't change. Poor putters, the rhythm will change quite drastically from length of putt to length of putt. So there are great putting gadgets out there. There's a system called the Blast system, which is something that you put on the end of your putter, and it literally gives you the speed and the rhythm and the cadence of your stroke. Most people will be sort of between 2 to 1 with your backstroke, or 1.5 to 1. So little quicker swing speed. But everyone will have their own rhythm. So the best way to go about finding your own rhythm, a metronome's another good one. Just download a metronome app and hit putts with your eyes shut. So just shut your eyes, swing the putter, find center contact of the putter, and find a nice rhythm. You don't even need to be necessarily putting it towards a hole or a distance, but find a nice rhythm that you feel like the cadence is good, and find that timing on the metronome putter. Close your eyes, sound it out, and find a similar cadence on the metronome putter. That's the speed and the cadence that your stroke should be for short putts and long putts. So go ahead and give that a try next time you're down at the driving range or on the putting green. Shut your eyes, hit some putts, and try and replicate that same rhythm.
All right, next week I'm coming with best songs to putt to. That's what we're gonna do next week. And again, any suggestions? Course Language Podcast at Gmail,
absolutely,
or at Course Language Pod for the best putting songs for rhythm, or just anyone that would sound like it's golf related, even if it's not.
Absolutely.
If you've got any questions for Lynchy, by the way, same modes of communication. Any questions, anything you'd like us to throw up in all the tips, anything that you're struggling with that Lynchy might be able to help you. I don't think there's anything I can help you with, but hey, if you think I can, mate, why not?
Absolutely.
Second and very poor opinion. Two biggest stories this week, Lynchy, have got to be the dominance, number one, the dominance of Scottie Scheffler to win the FedEx St. Jude, the first stop of 3 in the PGA to a playoffs, end of season. He did it by the length of not just the Flemington Straight, but you throw in the Moonee Valley, even though that's been torn up, maybe throw in Caulfield as well. He just put them in the rear view and was in the clubhouse. If this was a race, he would have been home by the time that everybody else was finishing. Just remarkable. How many was it? 8 shots in the end?
It was a dominant performance, wasn't it? And I think the question moves to, can he win all 3 of these things? I mean, he's heavy favourite for this week, which is going to start tomorrow. And the impressive thing, obviously, with this week's win, he'll be really disappointed that it's come after the major season and is sort of rounding into form. But his putter was super hot over the weekend. So best putting performance of his entire career from a strokes gained perspective. He gained 4 strokes just on the putting greens against the entire field in round 2. He gained 2.5 strokes or 2.25 strokes, 2.25 strokes in round 3, and over 3 shots in round 4 just on the putting green. So you're talking about the number 1 player in the world, best ball striker, albeit it has dipped just ever so slightly from what it was last year when he was absolutely dominant. And now he's starting to find that putter again as we as we wheeled into the season winding up or the FedEx Cup playoffs sort of coming through. But severe lack of movement, players in, players out. We've got the top 50 this week for BMW, but yeah, dominant performance, mate. Nice to see the likes of Siwoo Kim, Sung Jae Im, Hideki all playing pretty well. It's giving our President's Cup guys something to look for as well.
Well, and speaking of President's Cup, Adam Scott's finish guaranteed him a spot. I think he was T12, if I'm not mistaken, in the end, and he's now inside that top 6. So we spoke to Jeff Ogilvy a couple of weeks ago now, and that chat is available wherever you get your podcast, and well worth a listen because it was all focused in on the President's Cup. And the way in which he speaks about Adam Scott, the reverence that he speaks about Adam Scott with, the respect, the love, the friendship, the fact that their careers have been, side by side for most of it. I think the only person as happy as Adam Scott would have been Jeff about the fact that he, as much as I'm sure Jeff would have picked him, the fact that he didn't have to, I think is a great thing. And now who will he use those picks on will be really, really interesting. Minwoo didn't have a great FedEx St. Jude, but he's still high up enough in the rankings to make sure he's there for this week's BMW Championship. And Rory was probably the other big surprise, Lynchy. He had a Barry Crocker. I don't think it's got anything to do with Ibiza. Before anybody, don't you dare cast aspersions.
I love it.
Don't you dare.
Someone clearly got in his ear and said, hey, look, you should probably show up for these. If it wasn't Brian Rollup, it was somebody else high up that he respects because he was not planning on playing it, and it did seem like he was absolutely mailing it in. Again, it's super honest in his post-round and post-tournament press conferences as well. Just didn't have it. I was kind of thinking about my swing out there, didn't feel comfortable, so I started thinking about my swing, stopped thinking about the shot, and I'm a little rusty, and this is what happens. Like, you don't need to be too far off at the highest level of the game to make yourself look silly. Like, the amount of practice and time that these guys put into their games, a couple of weeks is going to just show some cracks. I mean, the level of maintenance at that level is just out of this world. So, as you mentioned, we've got the BMW this week, Keith Mitchell, Jordan Spieth, Max Homer, Harris English, with the 4 guys that finished 51, 52, 53, 54. So they're all sent packing. Geez, it'd be nice to get one of those guys coming down to the Australian Open or something, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Given that they're a little early than they wanted.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Max Homer, given he was one of the people that clearly had FOMO about not being here.
Did you see? So Siwoo Kim obviously played really nicely, had a good finish, moved up. He's on to next week. He and Scottie Scheffler are members of the same club. Did you happen to see that that interview that he did with Patrick McDonald on Golf CBS?
No.
So he's joined up the same club with Scottie Scheffler. Scottie got him in. They've started playing cash games. Patrick McDonald asked, how many times have you beaten him? And Siwoo Kim said, I still haven't beaten him since joining. I've been a member there for almost a year. He's impossible to beat. I'm paraphrasing. He said his highest round since we've been playing together is like 64. I've tied him twice. He's just too good. He never misses shots. He never misses greens, and he doesn't miss putts. He's just so good. So that level of compliment from one of your peers in Siwoo Kim, who's an absolute flusher himself, is pretty high praise. And I believe that Scottie Scheffler is now the same distance from Rory McIlroy. He's number 2 in the world as the gap between the two of them, as the gap between the rest of the players on the planet. So just remarkable stuff what Scottie Scheffler's doing. Speaking of having fun, the US Amateur was won as well by Jack Whaley. If you haven't seen this already, 22-year-old Englishman beat Jay Liang Jr. 4-3 in the final. We've had a couple of Aussies win in the past 20 years or so. Nick Flanagan in 2003, Curtis Luck in 2016, Walter Travis from Australia in 1900, 1901 and 1903 as well. But the reason I bring this up, because speaking of fun, could you imagine getting 3 better golf courses for the majors that you're going to play next year? he's definitely at the Masters. He'll definitely get the US Open, which is at Pebble Beach, and he'll definitely get the Open Championship, which is at St Andrews. How good is that?
He's just bucket listed 3 of probably his top 5 if he hasn't played them already.
Unbelievable stuff. So well done to him.
The other big story of the week is, and again, it's the ever evolving what's going on with LIV. So this event will be their last event of the season and maybe ever. But they've said that they've got investment, so we wait and see what 2.0 looks like. There won't be the team championship, that final event. So whoever wins it this week will get it. It'll be decided. The Jon Rahm story has been the biggest talking point because multiple reports during the week that this will be his last event. He's going to pay a substantial fine, $25 million has been discussed. It'll go to charity, and he will rejoin the PGA Tour next year. He won't be eligible. He'll have to play his way in and earn his way into the signature events. He won't be able to accept sponsors' invites into those. He'll have to perform well enough to make them. It's the same as the Brooks Koepka situation.
Bigger fine, so.
Yeah, bigger fine.
That's what's been reported.
It's a similar in terms of that. The reports are reportedly agreed to terms. Well, I'm looking at a website, Golf Magic, who is quoting Eamon Lynch from the Golf Channel, saying that the reports are not true and that Brian Rowlap will not be engaging in talks with Jon Rahm whilst he's under contract to avoid a tortious interference claim. And the quotes are, what you're seeing now is exit planning going on, particularly these rumours going on about Jon Rahm, which is very obviously the people around him just chumming the waters, trying to create a narrative that Jon Rahm has options. I've talked to multiple sources at the PGA Tour. There is no conversation with Jon Rahm. That would have to start between Jon and Brian Rowlap, and Jon is contractually obligated to LIV Golf right now. And if LIV does file for bankruptcy, that doesn't necessarily void Jon Rahm's contract. It may make him one of their larger creditors, but it might not automatically free him from his contractual obligations, and the PGA Tour is not going to set itself up for tortious interference claim from LIV at this point in proceedings. Jon Rahm has a problem. Brian Rowlap does not have a problem right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no more trusted source, I would say, than Eamon Lynch. He's always got his finger on the pulse. He's got a lot of very close contacts, obviously, at the PGA Tour. I would be very, very surprised if Jon Rahm's management haven't reached out, or it sounded like, obviously, at the start of the year that his contract was pretty ironclad based on the comments that he made earlier this year, saying that, almost through dead eyes, he kind of looked through and said, I'm contracted, and, they knew what they were doing when they were writing these contracts. So it'd be surprising if they haven't reached out, but who knows? Who knows what this looks like? I mean, the reports are that he doesn't want to be around for a LIV 2.0. But again, this is just all hearsay at the moment, man.
Just on that though, if he is still owed $130 million, is there not wiggle? Is there not negotiating there to say, look, I'll forgo it?
Absolutely.
You let me go and I'll let it go.
Sure.
Or is there anything in the contract that makes that contract null and void? I'm sure his lawyers have all looked at that. I'm nowhere near the smartest person in this room, let alone in that room. So I'm sure they've covered all of that. But surely there's something in that. I mean, I know the bankruptcy thing was just pointed out there, but if he's owed money, surely he can go to them and say, hey, don't pay me, which they might say, hey, we don't have to anyway. But
well, any contract realistically can be broken with settlement, right?
Yeah.
So both parties have to agree to the settlement terms. Both parties have to agree to whatever terms are agreed upon to get out of the contract. The only reason that he wouldn't is if there's a substantial amount of cash being left on the table, would be the only thing that you'd be questioning. Again, he hasn't really looked like he's been necessarily loving it over there from the outside looking in.
Player of the year again.
Totally. And an unbelievable player. There's no doubt about that. I'm just sort of looking at body language and the way that he sort of holds himself during press conferences and any of these questions that he's been asked. It hasn't been as emphatically as, say, a Bryson DeChambeau in the way that he's answering questions and saying, no, I'm in for this. I want the, this is where I see myself playing. Even guys like Cam Smith, as of late, has sort of started talking about potentially checking out his options for the US Tour and things like that. So, look, again, it's all up in the air at the moment. What does it all look like? Scott O'Neill's come out and said that the season is going to essentially be 10 events with no way to actually work your way into the events at the moment. They're going to lose world ranking points. The strategic alliance has, and that's the strategic alliance with the US Tour, DP World Tour, Asian Tour, have just come out and said, essentially, the DP World Tour has sort of said, okay, fines are back on the table. There's no playing both as of next year. So does that change people and the way that they want to go about playing this tour? It's just going to be a fascinating watch to see what it looks like, what this LIV 2.0 looks like in the coming months, and what players and talent they're able to hang on to.
Yeah, and people who are dancing on the grave of it a little bit and, sucked in for those guys, it's really easy in a cynical world to say, oh, well, they went for the money, they did suck shit, all that kind of stuff. But Jon Rahm looks like a guy to me who thinks, gee, I thought that this could be something that would change the face of golf and we might have been able to achieve something that maybe gave it an incredible option for fan, for player, a world event, a team thing, something more than just individual. He could have really believed in the vision. He could have really believed in what he was doing. Yes, there's an incredible financial windfall, but there had to be for these guys to take the leap. And it looks like it's not going to come off the way he would have liked. So I get why he might feel like he looks like a guy who the jam's been taken well and truly out of the donut.
Yeah.
Because and I do have empathy for that, because I think if you do actually go into something with good intentions, he took equity. He's one of the owners of his team, I think. So I understand it from that point of view.
Yeah.
He thought we were going to change. We wanted to change the golfing world, and I get that. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to do that, and there might be good still, and there has been good that's come out of it. We've spoken about it numerous times.
Yeah, totally.
But
especially in countries and markets like South Africa, Australia, even Spain, where he's
and
from,
even the PGA.
You've got to absolutely, but you've got to look back at that time when he left. At that time, the PIF, Jay Monahan, they had a handshake agreement. Felt like things were almost starting to come back together. You know, he kind of felt like he was potentially going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah. You know, it hasn't panned out the way that he saw it. I don't think that's an unfair comment to make, and there's no doubt. I'm not saying that he hasn't enjoyed it over there at all. He may have absolutely loved it, but there's no doubt that he would have been a bit disappointed in the last couple of years in the way that he's performed outside of LIV. Obviously, he's dominated LIV. He did finish second in a major this year, so I'll temper sort of what I'm saying here a little bit. But he was an absolute lock for a top 10, top 5 finish in a major a couple of years ago, and it just feels like he hasn't quite got out of this what he was hoping to. So it'll be fascinating to watch. I don't know how you're going to be able to... He's been
very good at Ryder Cups, it must be said.
Oh,
He's still
absolutely.
been very good at...
Totally.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
The sports entertainment sort of brain that I have sort of got ticking a little bit with this. It seems to me now that if LIV doesn't go ahead, and for the people who are still keen, and I sort of hope that or whatever happens, that they find a place and it's a soft landing and all that stuff, because we've got a lot of Aussies in there, and I don't want anyone to be sort of left going, oh, hang on, I'm homeless. So and I don't mean that literally. I mean figurative in their golfing home.
Yeah. Nowhere to play.
But it did get me thinking, if the PGA and DP have the whip hand, they can make whatever rules they want when it comes to these players, either not coming back or coming back. I'll tell you what, would be a great spectacle. You could really market this. You could sell tickets to it. I think NFL Draft Day, the biggest event of the NFL calendar other than the Super Bowl itself. Yeah. We're trying to do it with the AFL Draft. But could you just imagine if the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour, this is why the DP should have taken the LIV money and put themselves up on par with the PGA in terms of financially what both could offer. Because could you imagine if they both set up an event where all the players who were needing to find a new home had to sit there. And whilst those two organisations went back to back in a draft with the number one pick, the PGA Tour select. And it would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Because who would they pick? Would they pick Bryson or Jon Rahm? I'm fairly sure that they would probably pick Bryson, but who knows? They might have picked Jon Rahm. Who would they have taken if you had the first pick? In fact, why don't we, not being the PGA or the DP World Tour, why don't you and I do a draft? Yeah. We get 10 players each for the LIV players that are still up there. Who are we taking?
To join our tour, to join the Ryan Lynch Golf Tour and the Sam Hargreaves Golf Tour. We're going to run a little draft because, let's be honest, I don't think the PGA Tour would be taking Bryson necessarily, given that he's sued them. And I think it could be a bit of an interesting road back for Bryson, as much entertainment value, and I think he should be playing every major event. Like, there's no one I'd rather see playing golf than Bryson DeChambeau, just about. So he's an entertainment machine. But all right, this is going to be good fun.
We'll do this as a toss of the coin, heads or tails. I'll get the cathedral marker. So the heads will be the cathedral logo. The tails will be my name engraved on the back. All right, heads or tails, I'll let you have the call.
Sounds
good.
Here
we go.
Tails never fails.
It is a head.
Okay, so you get number one pick.
Ooh.
You're starting your own tour. You get to take players from the LIV Tour. Fire away. I'm interested to see who you're going to take here.
This is the hardest choice of all the choices for this draft. Because
Absolutely.
Jon Rahm or Bryson DeChambeau. All right. Thanks to our very good friends at Callaway, I will select with the number one pick, the Raging Bull, Jon Rahm.
Very good. Oh, well, no doubt about it, I'll be taking Bryson then. Brings with him a huge fan base and that YouTube that we might be able to tap into on our tour.
You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to take the Bendigo boy who's still on the table. I'm going to take Lucas Herbert with pick 3.
Very
playing
good.
Career best golf at the moment.
Well, I want a tour that people are going to talk about and may not necessarily be tuning in for the right reasons, but we're going to have a lot of clips. We're going to be sending it out. We're going to have a big social media team. So I'm going to take Tyrrell Hatton with my second choice.
I really wanted Tyrrell. I'll be taking Joaquin Niemann then.
Okay.
Because he's the winningest player on the LIV Tour. Got to take him. Just need him to start doing it in majors to help our tour get a bit more credibility.
Yep, very good. Well, I am going to, with my third pick, I'm going to take Cam Smith, and I'm going to back him to get himself back into the winner's circle and become one of the great players. He's going to be back at the old course next year where he won his claret jug.
I'm going to go, we need young guns, so you got to get, I'm all about the exciting young gun. So I'm going to go down the list a little. David Pugh.
Very nice. Like
from
that.
Spain.
I'm going way down the list and way off the board here.
Hello.
But he is here for aesthetic. He's also just probably my favorite swing of all time. I'm going to go all the way down to Louis Oosthuizen. Just to watch him hit golf balls on the driving range, I would love nothing more than him playing on my tour.
That's surprised me. I think you're going to need a veteran, but who still brings star power to the caper. So I'm gonna take DJ.
I like that. Very good.
So just to update, I've gone Rahm, Herbert, Niemann, Pugh, Johnson.
I'm going to go another just outrageous clickbaity type bloke. I know he's going to be playing the Masters every year. I can spruik that. I'm not sure that he's the most popular man out there, but I'm going to take Sergio Garcia.
Oh, well, good luck getting through caddies.
Love it.
I'm going to take Thomas Dietrich.
He's very recent to LIV. He'll be one of those guys that would be quite flat about all this going down. No doubt about that, as well as our man Elvis Smiley, who I'll be taking with my next pick. Up and comer. I think his best golf is certainly ahead of him. And with a couple of the older guys I've got on my tour, I'm going to need some young blood. So I'm taking Elvis Smiley, the left-hander.
Well, it's been big in South Africa, hasn't it, Liv? So we want to try and make sure we're covered with our fellow Antipodeans. So I'll take Brandon Grace. Finished 15th this year, respectable.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick to this young gun theory here and take the Northern Irishman Tom McKibben. So it's showing some serious promise. He is an absolute superstar.
Yeah, with that in mind, I'm going to take José Ballester.
Very nice.
With the young guns.
I've got Bryson, Tyrrell, Cam Smith, Louis Oosthuizen, Sergio Garcia, Elvis Smiley, McKibben. I'm going to take Carlos Ortiz. It's starting to thin out now a little bit.
I'm going to take the comeback story, maybe the greatest comeback story in golfing history. I'm going to take Anthony Kim. I'm going to take the bloke who came back in with no promises after getting the bit of a cushion ride in at the start as a bit of a promotional exercise, earned his spot and is currently 7th. So to finish the season out,
earned his
Anthony
spot.
Kim for me.
Have to assume he'll be going to Q school if push comes to shove, and because he will certainly be one of those guys that is sort of lacking with a place to play. I can't believe this guy's slid as far as he had. Phil Mickelson called him the #1 player in the world last year at some point. One of the most winningest players on the LIV Tour. I'm going to take Taylor Gooch with my 9th pick.
Yeah, where the hell was Taylor Gooch? Not as great this year, was he?
Not as solid this year, no.
All right, I'm going to finish this out because I just don't want to leave Herbie as the only Australian. So, Leash, you're coming with me, my man, and you will be the cultural and spiritual leader of this tour. You will be the glue that keeps us all together, and you'll probably win a fair bit for us as well. So I'll take Mark Leishman with my final pick.
Very good. And for my final pick, I am taking the man who's actually played quite well this year. Spent a fair bit of time with him, actually, after he won the Aussie PGA a number of years ago. Harold Varner III, HV3, I'm going to take. He's number 9 at the moment on the standings. Actually having a really quietly good year, Harold Varner, and at his best has a lot of games. So
I'll tell you who's a bit stiff, Abraham Answer, who finished 10th. Did anyone take poor old Abraham?
Former Australian Open champion.
Former Australian Open winner too. All right, I've gone John Rahm, Lucas Herbert, Joaquin Neiman, David Pugh, Dustin Johnson, Thomas Dietrich, Brandon Grace, José Ballester, Anthony Kim, and Mark Leishman.
Very good. I've gone Bryson DeChambeau, Tyrrell Hatton, Cam Smith, Louis Oosthuizen, Sergio Garcia, Elvis Smiley, McKibben, Ortiz, Taylor Gooch, and Harold Varner III. Let us know which team you would rather come and support, and maybe we just start our own LIV 2.0 and we start with bigger teams. And I know you wanted to float the countries of origin last week, mate, but our own tours, that's where we sit. That was a more difficult exercise than I thought it was going to be honest.
Last week we did the blind rankings. You gave me 6 either golf TV shows or movies. Blind rankings, the 5 most important things for you to have a great game and a great day playing golf. Weather.
Weather doesn't faze me heaps. I'm gonna put that last. Put weather last.
It's a good call, I reckon.
Yeah.
I told the story the other week playing the National in the worst possible cold, rain coming in, 100-mile-an-hour winds. It was just the worst weather ever, but we were having the best day. With Scottie from Duck Hook. So I agree with you on that.
I just think, like, if you think back to like the hottest day you ever played in, or like the worst conditions you've ever played in, they stick in your memory, you know? Like the weather can actually be additive, I think.
Playing partners.
This is very high, very high. I'm going to put that at number 2 of importance for what I enjoy playing golf for.
Yeah, got to be top 2. Got to be top 2. The match or game that you're playing.
Oh, it's a very important part of the day, I think. And if you've got that pairing and the playing partners there, I think it's even more important. Let's put that at number 3.
Course condition.
This is similar to weather. If you've got the other 2, put that at number 4. Course condition doesn't faze me too much as long as it's playable.
Well, that then is going to leave, and I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised, but then again, this is the blind ranking, but this fits perfectly. You'll actually be happy with this.
Okay.
The last one is course layout.
Oh, yes. Exactly right.
You are such an architecture nerd.
I think look, you want to be intrigued and you want to be able to hit the shots. You want your imagination flying. I think the course layout and the interest in holes and shots that you're hitting throughout the day is at the utmost importance. I'm stoked with those 5, to be honest.
So course layout number 1.
Yep.
Playing partners number 2.
Yep.
What you're playing number 3.
Cash games, yeah.
Yeah. And then the course condition and then the weather.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right, let's do Gimme or Putt That. I might just start with the one I had a bit earlier, Lynchy.
Yeah.
The LIV Golf, the PGA and the TP World Tour should get together to put on a draft of the players from the LIV Golf Tour.
Look,
if they don't get their own tour up off the ground.
I'm going to sit in the same spot. They should or they will are 2 different things, I think.
Of course they won't.
No, Putt That. Okay, hats on in the clubhouse is play on.
Do you mean you should just be able to wear your hat in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a gimme.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll tell you why. One, look, I say to my boys, hats off at the table, all right? I mean, there's, common courtesies and manners and things like that, and I do think some traditions are worth keeping. I don't know what this one is actually. I think my old man's one of those people. I'm going to actually find out. My old man will tell you exactly why things are done in the way they are.
Do you know why it is?
He'll tell you that the reason why you used to get down on one knee to propose to someone, why we did that and all this kind of stuff. We used to shake hands to show that we didn't have any weapons. Like he's traced all this stuff back. He's one of those kind of blokes.
He loves it.
Do you know the reason why it's hats off in the club room, do you?
It's an English type thing, I believe, from what I understand. And in a lot of the English courses or UK courses, there would be a photo or a picture of the king or queen or whoever it was at the time, and as a sign of respect, you'd take your hat off because the photo or picture or painting or portrait of the king or queen at the time was being hung in the room. So hats off as a kind gesture. So don't see it as often in America. In fact, there's no rule. There's no hats off in America often.
Well, with that in mind, then, I'm going to change. No, I'm not going to change my mind. That is a definite gimme. And here's the other reason, because I don't really give a shit about the royal family. Here's the other thing, that you know how hard it is when it's your round, and if you've forgotten that you've got so you go in, you take your hat off, and you try and juggle your beers that you're trying to take back and your hat. Just very inconvenient. Inconvenient. A birdie, if you're playing par, should be double.
You want to play double par? That is that is a putt that.
I'm talking on a hole that you get if you get a shot on that hole.
Yeah.
And so all you need to do to get a tick is a par.
Yeah.
But you get a birdie. I reckon you should double up.
Okay. If you're going to do that, you should make a double wipe if you have a wipe. You can't have it. You can't only have the pros.
Next hole?
Well, no. You can't only have the pros. Like if you have a 1-pointer, you get a wipe. If you have a wipe, you get a wipe. It only counts as a 1 down. You can't have more than. You can't be doubling up on your pluses and then not have anything go back the other way.
No. But
you can't just have upside risk though.
But hang on. There's not that in Stableford.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. Once you've got to wipe, there's no more than a wipe, but you can get extra points depending on.
It's a fair point. You can get a 5-pointer, can't you? That's actually a fair point.
You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, and if miracles.
5's pretty uncommon, but I mean, no, that's a fair point. Fair point. Yeah.
Bang.
Nah, I want downside risk. I don't want to be coming down the last where there's no possible way for a 2-shot swing. Or more than a 2-shot swing. I need my way out.
Just a bit dull, Pa. Just a bit dull.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Just a bit dull.
14 clubs is too many clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, gimme. Do you know what I'm going to try and figure out? I'm going to try and keep tabs on how many clubs I use each round.
You'd be surprised how few times you hit certain clubs, especially if you play at the same course regularly.
Yeah, which we both do. So yeah, I'll take that as a gimme. I think we could do less clubs. If you've finished a hole and everybody's finished a hole, you should be able to, if you're the last one, drop the ball where you had your putt from and just have another go at it if you've missed it, just to figure out what you may or may not have done wrong.
A little bit
as
of
everybody
on
moves
the
on to the next.
Okay.
What?
A little bit of practicing on the course. I'm going to say, putt that, only because it flies in the face of like, come on, let's get moving. Like, we don't need to be hitting extra shots out here. Let's fast play this. I don't want anyone standing on the putting green if there's a group obviously behind them or anything like that. But you are allowed to do this in match play, but not stroke play or any other competition. So,
okay,
I'm going to say putt that. I wouldn't have a problem with it if there was no one around personally, but yeah, I'll just say you should. I'm not going to say you should be able to. Last one's mine.
Do you know I got in trouble early on days at Chelt because I played with one of the long time members there, and I didn't know that rule. So we were on like the 5th hole or something, and I hit a bad shot, and I was out.
Yeah,
I'm out, and then there wasn't actually really many there that day, and I just dropped another ball and just practiced the shot. And he, what the hell are you doing? I said, just hitting it, practice, waiting, we're killing time. And he's like, you can't do that. Yeah. Don't ever do that again. I'm like, oh shit. There's a course language confessional, and we haven't even got to that yet.
Course language confessional. I mean, look, there are polite ways to do that. Like, if you genuinely don't know, there are polite ways to do that.
No, I said that. Oh, shit, I'm so sorry, mate. I hadn't really played comp many times.
As in, like, the way that you would tell somebody discreetly, hey, that's not within the ruls. But yeah. Mate,
no, he was good about it.
That's good.
He was pretty good about it.
I'm glad.
He was okay about it.
my last one for Gimme or Putt That is LeBron James is in the YouTube golf space. I'm noticing.
Mm-hmm.
Is LeBron James' YouTube channel something that you would tune into?
I'll putt that. Not deliberately. I'm rapt that he's playing golf. I think it's great for golf that he's playing it. I think it's only good things when people with that profile, with billions of followers, in the top 2 greatest basketball players to ever play the game, like he's an icon. So that's only good for golf when icons want to take up the game, because I think we've talked about this 1,000 times. That's one of the big upticks in golf is people like that, and there's not many like that, but people with that kind of notoriety and fame in other areas picking up golf and bringing people to it because they influence what a lot of other people do. So I think it's amazing, but I don't have the time. So I don't think I'm going to be tuning in. If it comes up in my feed, I'll go, I wonder how your swing's looking. I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times.
You're big on that. I like to reverse engineer it. Why is golf bringing LeBron James to the game? Why is LeBron James interested in playing the game? I don't know. I don't know whether LeBron James. No,
that's a good point. That like golf is strong. Is that strong that it's bringing? I've sort of gone, yeah.
Yeah, you're reverse engineering it. I don't know whether or not that someone like LeBron James is going to make people play golf necessarily. Certainly, they have some influence. But my bigger question is, hey, LeBron, why are you playing golf? What interests you about golf?
Well, Lynchy, that pretty much does us for another week. But we always finish on a course language confessional on Course Language, all thanks to Callaway. I mentioned before a couple of weeks ago, I caught up with Scottie from Duck Hook Golf, doing great things. Their YouTube is flying at the moment, and they've got some big projects to come. The former Dogs players, or it's still 2 current. We've got a quick 9 with Scottie, which will be directly below this podcast when we put the 2 up as a bonus episode on Course Language. So a quick 9 with Anthony Scott, former Bulldog now at Duck Hook Golf. But I just wanted to use his Course Language confessional to finish us off this week, and keep sending your Course Language confessionals in. We've still got a couple of Travis Matthews and Callaway hats to give away, and we are going to be sending all those out very soon to those who have earned them. But why don't we finish up this week with our Course Language confessional?
You say safe space, but this is going out publicly. There are. I could throw people under the bus from a certain football club out west maybe a few people doing some dodgy things on a golf course, but I feel like they stand to lose too much if I expose them, so I won't name any names. I had a funny one happen to me not too long ago. I was actually out here at the National on the Gunner course on the 17th hole, which is a pretty short par 4. Drove the green in 1, had probably like a 35-foot eagle putt. And on the day we're playing with Charles Murray, who a bit of a right-hand man for me at Duck Hook, does a lot of our filming, but we decided on this occasion that he could actually have a round with us. And, I mean, he'd be the first to admit that he's a bit of a hack. He'd also be the first person to admit that he's a member at Royal Melbourne. He's not shy in coming forward with that. Anyway, I had my eagle putt on the 17th, and I reckon about 3 feet from the hole, it was just not missing. And Charles, as he had been on many of the previous holes, had already wiped the hole. So he was just off to the side practicing his chipping. And my ball's rolling towards the hole. I've put my finger up to celebrate an eagle.
Oh, no.
And he's chipped one in practice, and it's just knocked my ball off the green. And the boys, it was going in so much so that the boys I was playing with were like, we're happy for you to put that in as an eagle. But me being the honest golfer I am, I said, no, I can't. So I put the ball back, and I think I 3-putted for a par on the next attempt.
And then he doesn't work there anymore, does he?
No, he doesn't, yeah. R.I.P.
Well, he's dead.
Not only does he not work there, yeah.
Well, hey, sometimes you got to take. These are what happened. Anyway, that's enough for me. But what about that?
That's very timely, given that we were just talking about practicing while on the golf course, isn't it?
You'd like that.
Very good, Scotty. Thank you for sharing, mate. This is a safe space, and thanks for everyone sending your course language confessionals in. That's very good.
Hey, check out the bonus episode of the Quick 9 with Anthony Scott as well. Make sure you're sending in your confessionals at Course Language Pod on Instagram. You can record them there with your voice or email us in courselanguagepodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget, buy a Quantum driver from Callaway. They'll throw in a box of the Chrome Tour balls, get 8 pieces. They'll throw in the bag as well. If you are shopping for Travis Matthews or OGO gear, use Course Language 20 at checkout. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on either Spotify or Apple Podcast. And if you could subscribe to our YouTube page, that'd be pretty bloody handy as well. If you're not following us on Instagram, please do that as well. Lynchy, have a great time in Vietnam, mate. I don't know how you do this, but we'll catch up with you while you're over there, I guess.
I'll be talking to you guys over there. I wouldn't miss hanging out with you for a little bit, Sammy, especially coming from beautiful Vietnam.
Kind. All right, mate. Remember what happens on Course Plays on Course Language.
Hit him well.
This episode of Course Language was proudly brought to you by the legends at Callaway.